Honestly, I've never gotten a streaming check for any of my music.
How does that even happen? Ladies, I already see y'all in here. Oh my God, I got a message for that man.
When I do listen to a mixtape, I don't know when one artist begins and the other one ends.
Damn. Copying is so prevalent. They've developed technology to help you copy better. Jesus.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna
let them cook.
DIY.
Okay, DIYers, I saw this here on my timeline where Method Man sat down with a gentleman named Wale, head of sports entertainment at UBS, and it's here on the Hot 97 YouTube channel where he's talking about a lot of different things. He's giving advice to up-and-coming artists, DIYers, independent artists, but he also said something that was really head-scratching, in that he's never received any money from music streaming.
What?
I don't know how the hell. We'll get to it, but let's talk about what he has in terms of advice for emerging artists today.
Going to be on stage with a lot of emerging artists today.
Yeah.
Give me a couple more tidbits you may say to somebody coming up.
Work on your craft, because that's what's putting the bread on the table.
How have you become a master of your craft?
I still enjoy it. And I think that when you enjoy what you do, it doesn't feel like work. I see a blank slate, and when I look at it, colors jump off of that mug. You know, it's like I'm already creating in my mind what it's supposed to look like, that empty space, always trying to fill that empty space. It's just a beautiful thing, and you don't even know that you're doing the work while you're doing that. So by the time you actually get to the work, you've prepped already. Like your inner monologue has prepped you already to be great. And especially with hip hop, the best advice I can give someone that's writing is listen to your favorites, understand what a double entendre is.
I think we do after this damn Kendrick and Drake situation.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
I ain't never in my life seen so many people trying to look for quadruple zuzuple entendres because of the Euphoria title alone. It's a new day. It's a great day to be a lyricist, I'll tell you that right now.
By all means, create your own lane and run, young man.
Hey, ladies in here. Ladies, I already see y'all in here. Oh my God, Method Man, I got a method for that man. I be seeing y'all. Y'all over here drooling. Pick it up.
Run. Or young lady, run. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. If we took it back to our elementary days where our principals and teachers gave us a grade, what would you give the music industry a grade? And also then I want you to give me a grade on the creatives, the artists,
Okay.
on where they're at with it.
The industry gets enough, took them too long to adjust to streaming.
Hello.
To a point where they're drowning and fighting for trying to tread water right now. And I don't think it's really working out because the way the industry, or rather the way music is received, has changed so much that they either have to adjust or get...
The ladies in here are going crazy right now.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Afro Butterfly says he making me thirsty. Leave me to my hydration. Ignore me. Are y'all gonna even hear the reaction? Hey, y'all ain't gotta react to nothing. I'm gonna just be like this. Y'all ain't gonna care about nothing I say. That's crazy.
the hell out of the way. As far as creatives go, the things that we're getting now, as far as music as a whole, it's so many different genres that are crossing into other genres, and artists are respecting other. I just seen Sexy Red at a country music concert.
Wow.
That right there says a lot. Who's performing here, by the way?
He was also twerking on that stage on that. She was twerking on the country singer. I get his point, but she was on there twerking on the country singer, and it was kind of problematic too for a lot of people, because it's like, damn, you up on that stage making us look crazy. Like, why you can't be brought on to do a song? Just what you are. You're a professional artist. You're not, you know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't a professional twerker. Like, why are you up there twerking on the country? And maybe he didn't even ask for it. Maybe he was like, oh, damn, didn't even think, I don't know what to do with all that. Maybe he didn't know, but that was kind of problematic.
It's like music is always going to trump any kind of
Van, not Van DC. I got a genre he can cross over to. What is wrong with y'all?
ills that go on in the world or in the present world today, but it also speaks to current events, which also makes it just as relevant in everyone's lives as eating.
In your time, your style, your flavor, your voice, that was yours.
Organic,
and,
yes.
Yeah, anybody that bit or mimicked you was seen as a fraud.
Yeah, pretty much. Yes.
With AI, they have the ability to take your whole aura, demeanor, voice,
Yes.
and reproduce that for the masses. Give me your opinion.
I'm sorry. Yeah, what he getting ready to get into, he about to get into the point that I was making earlier about the streaming, but I'm looking at his chat. This is the first time I've been this distracted by the chat. Y'all are hilarious right now. You ladies are in love with this man. No, Vandy, I would not look at his calves. Why would you even say that? Because now I got to do like this. I don't want to look at another man's calves. That's crazy. Oh, but y'all call my calves, you say my legs are like the minions, but y'all over here admiring this man's calves. That's crazy. I'm going to get back in the gym. Don't you even worry about it.
On that.
I'm still trying to figure out AI, but I have seen some things that have made me raise an eyebrow. The Drake diss with the Tupac and Snoop, the fake Kendrick, it's a lot to it. I mean, I think it goes way deeper than that, especially when it comes to IPs for artists that came from my era.
Right.
Because, you know, honestly, I've never gotten a streaming check.
Wait. You ever drive with somebody and they had like bad vision and it was at nighttime and they made their turns super late? That's what this felt like right here. We're talking about AI. The conversation was getting into how he feels about AI taking his identity and other artists' identity and their likeness, and how does he feel threatened by it. And then out of nowhere, he was like, AI is out of control. You know what else is out of control? Me never getting paid for streaming. Where the hell did that come from?
Because, you know, honestly, I've never gotten a streaming check for any of my music.
Really?
I've never gotten a streaming check for any of my music. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure it all out because there may be someone who can make a perfect mix of the two.
Okay, make it make sense. Maybe this is a label situation. I don't know what. Zoom in on his lips. No, Trisha M, chill. I stream Method Man regularly. That's a crazy double entendre. No, we would not get into that. I gotta focus. Focus. We must stay focused, sisters. The streaming situation, how does that happen if you're in a major label situation? Like, I think it's insane that I, as an independent artist, if you wanted to release a Curtis King song or a song that's featuring Curtis King, you won't even be able to distribute it on DistroKid unless you went and told me, gave me some special number, and I DM'd him and said it's okay. The fact that people are able to make so much money off of him, right? And he's had very successful albums, songs with Redman. The fact that he said he's never, how does that even happen? See, this is the times where I wish I was doing an interview with them tiny ass sweats and no socks on, because I'd ask him more questions. Got to try to get Method Man on his platform, because I ought to be in there like, what's up with the streaming shit?
Where I'm not saying to accept it, but at least make art out of it. And that's what I'm always for, the creative part, the art of it.
If we talk about your longevity.
Yeah.
How you skip over this? What you mean talk about his longevity? Why you skip over it? This is what pissed me off about hip hop media sometimes. How the hell you listen to this man just say, I ain't never made no money off of that thing that you know, that thing that you like about me? The music, you know, that shit you be listening to? How do you not dive more into that? That is a very important piece here. They don't talk about it no other place. How do I know that? Because I read here in this article. Check out what Hip Hop DX had to say about it, because I have to extend the story, obviously. They said, while discussing the rise of artificial intelligence and its impact on artists and other creatives, Meth said, I'm still trying to figure out AI, but I have seen some things that have made me raise an eyebrow. He's talking about the Drake situation with the Tupac and that. I'm wondering if he's saying, let me read this again. I think it goes way deeper than that, especially when it comes to IPs, intellectual property, for artists that come from my era, because honestly, I've never gotten a streaming check for any of my music. No, that's pretty straightforward. I don't think he's talking about streaming. What I initially thought was that maybe he's saying, I've never received a streaming check from somebody who took my likeness and tried to do some AI shit. That's not what he's saying. He's saying flat out, I ain't never got a streaming check. And this brother with the tight ass pants said, let's talk about your legacy. That's crazy. The Tikal MC isn't the first rapper to voice complaints with the current streaming model and its payout rates for artists. Last year, Snoop Dogg shed light on some of the economics of streaming, revealing how little money he received from his publishing company after achieving 1 billion streams on Spotify. You know what my gut instinct is telling me? Why it's happening to some of the most legendary rappers is because no matter how legendary they are, what could prepare them for something that not even the industry was prepared for? What could prepare them for when the transition happened and Steve Jobs waddled his ass in that room and was like, I figured it out. Everybody sit down. I got this shit. It's called iTunes. When he waddled his ass in there and said, this is what music is going to be worth. And whoever else made that decision, I feel like a lot of these labels moved quickly to try to get some of this money back. And they desperately jumped off the cliff to try to get to it. In the process of jumping off the cliff, a lot of the artists were probably left in the dark as they were signing their new deals. Maybe some of them couldn't even anticipate what streaming was going to be if they signed before streaming became a part of the flow of things. But that's kind of insane. So if you don't remember that Snoop post, we did a video about it. In the streaming world, I could show you right now, Snoop says. They sent me some shit from Spotify where I got 1 billion streams. He said on a Business Untitled podcast, my publisher hit me. I said, break that down. How much money is that? That shit wasn't even $45,000.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Which leads me to say once again, I wish if these platforms want all the criticism to go away, stop acting like you're a music store. You're not a music store. You're Instagram. Nobody gets on Instagram and talks a shit like we talk because we know what we're owed. Nobody gets on Instagram and says, man, fuck all these free posts that I'm putting up. I should be getting more money for these posts. No, people post because of the dopamine spikes and going viral and the business they can get. I mean, it's literally a free platform that you can make money off of if you do it right. But nobody complains about those. I'm sure there will come a day when content creators do. I'm sure that some content creators do it today, but that's what I'm thinking is that these are not, they need to stop positioning themselves. And I think the person that's holding all this up is the major labels, because the major labels want them pennies. They want them fractions of a pennies. They want whatever deal it is because they're still slaving out the artists, and their artists are barely making splits off of that. So they want that money however they can get it, but a billion streams to generate that much traffic, that much interest, that much listener activity, that much retention, you're trying to tell me that's only worth that? So then stop putting a price on it. Just make it free. Make it free, and then transition this whole thing so that the main focus is reach. The main focus is stop all of this bullshit about having people on these playlists that don't know a lick about music, never made music. Just make it free, or give the option to make it free, and then allow people to leverage their own direct-to-consumer platforms, and let's do business. But stop acting like you're doing business, because 0.003 is not a real offer. That's not a real offer. They do it to us, though. In the midst of all that advice that you got from Method Man to newer artists, man, this one kind of warmed my heart up a little bit, especially as a kid coming up on movies like House Party. You know, some of y'all know me when I was going through my baby Sinbad phase where I had a flat top. I'm pretty sure Toothless gonna put up a B-roll of that. I had a flat top. I had a little blonde spot, and it was inspired by Kid. It was inspired by Kid and Play. I used to love the movies. Oh my God, I used to love all them house parties. That being said, did you know that Kid and Play have a podcast? The Fun House with Kid and Play podcast? You know that? Kid and Play here on The Art of Dialogue clipped up this little part right here, and it says, Kid and Play speak on the lack of diversity in today's hip-hop, and Play questions whether today's hip-hop should be called hip-hop because it doesn't have the same hunger anymore due to it being more financially lucrative. Now, before you try to cut these brothers off as just old heads complaining, that's not what this is. I promise you. Check this out.
I personally don't know, when I do listen to a mixtape, so to speak, I don't know when one artist begins and the other one ends.
Damn.
And even when it comes to gender, I will not be able to tell for the most part, oh, that's a girl rapping, that's a dude rapping. And I remember...
He a real old head. He for sure.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Old heads got a very smooth way of applying pressure. They got a smooth way of disrespecting you. I'll be honest with you, nephew. I listened to the album. Couldn't tell if it was you or your little sister. But you definitely had some nice beats. What you mean, OG, you can't tell the difference between... I mean, I get it, because some of these dudes be... They be singing and shit. I get it, OG.
Us on the come up with our peers who are considered icons today is that it was very important. It meant everything to be unique, to be to the point that when our joint came on the radio or if it came on a cassette tape or whatever, right off the bat, we would usually, the listener was spot on to know that sounds like Heavy D. That sounds like Public Enemy.
Facts.
That sounds like, Arrested Development, Kid and Play, Too Short, whatever it was, the word you did not want to hear applied to you was, yo, that group or that rapper is biting. That's what you did not want to hear.
Oh, that was a death sentence back then.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
And it's so weird because in some ways, I guess it is still very taboo to bite, like, because I'm trying to figure this out. And maybe there's some younger folks in my audience that can help me out because I'm a little bit detached in this way. When y'all are accusing somebody of being a clout chaser because they're trying to find a way to piggyback off of somebody else's momentum, somebody else's fame, somebody else's style, do you realize that y'all are all the Spider-Man meme to other people? Hey man, I can see him now, screwing up they face, sizing up a square like me, like I'm out of place, like I'm out of pocket. Like my story now valid in these California alleys where I seen them getting active. Mama raised me in the church over 54 and hoop. Around the same crib, we would live in seclusion. It was a couple of OGs looking after moms, the same ones that saw whips that would make them pause. It was St. Peter's Rock around 92. My mama had me sitting in that front pew. She played piano in a choir that I clung to. They would hug on me and tell me I'm your aunt too. They had on bamboo earrings, cross-color clothes. Give me anything that I want from the liquor store. On the floor, they would pray when they turn off the lights. Cause every New Year's, niggas busted the sky. I'm a South Central LA product to talk proper. Made it out the bottom, no fitting in 8 columns. Got some Trey Styles, and I really had no choice without my pops. I could've easily got
ghetto, but I'm representing for the West Coast. Always put the pedal to the metal, cause I'm representing for the West Coast. I'm always getting to the chili. Go take my resume, you feel me? All of that hate you need to let go, cause I'm representing for the West Coast.
My nigga, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you realize that some people just put y'all all in the group? And these little subtle nuances that mean so much, that mean the world to you, somebody looking at you and saying all of y'all doing the same thing. And even though they said the same thing about generations before, even though it was ridiculous to say back in their era, you're in the AI era. You're in the era where copying is so prevalent. They've developed technology to help you copy better. Jesus.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Cook. There's technology out here right now meant to help you be a better clone, a better clout chaser. So it's insane that we're in a time where people are just like everybody's doing the same shit. I hear the differences because I'm an artist, I'm a musician. I get it. Same plug-in chains. Matter of fact, by the time a song drops, there's a new video that says, here's how you can do a song just like made by somebody who can't make a song like I let them cook though.
Like at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a legitimate. I don't even want to say complaint. I think that's a legitimate observation about the music of today, and because my lane in terms of this podcast is toward the newer side of things. Sometimes you do kind of feel like a lot of the songs just have a similar vibe to them. The rap style, the beats as well. I'll be traveling out of town, and a lot of times what I'll do is I'll kind of tap in to the local hip hop station and just kind of, maybe I'm in Houston, maybe I'm in outside of Chicago or what have you, just to kind of tap in. And it's a little bit more difficult these days to kind of distinguish from I think the classic era of hip hop, which as you said, every group slapped, but in a different style.
That's a good, legitimate question that you asked here. Marty McFly, what's new to them and how far are they digging? I'm with you. I would assume that the digging probably consists of what is being put on the radio. And what is being put on the radio today is only products that have a guarantee to keep up retention, that have commercial success. You couldn't even say commercial success anymore. There are so many thirsty radio stations that cannot wait to play something that is viral on social media because it equals out to more of the numbers that matter to them. And they'll share a viral. I mean, I got never forget a station out here, Power 106, and I got nothing but love for a lot of the folks that have worked there. But a station like Power 106 did not want to play. There was a fucking protest, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't remember. Shout out my guy, Roosevelt and C Nice. They did a actual protest to get played on the radio, for artists to get played on the radio at this point in time. We were talking about like maybe mid-2000s. And it wasn't until you started hearing Tyler's I'm a fucking walking paradox, no I'm not, that shit actually got played on the radio. It didn't fit any of their criteria for rhythmic radio with certain BPMs. It didn't fit the criteria in terms of content, but they were spinning those records because it was going crazy on the internet and it was too loud to ignore. Now we're looking at radio stations that are literally just that. They're just repeats of what's going on out here and whatever they have the rights to play. But there was a time people protested to try to get on the radio, and look at what happened now.
And it made for great live concerts because you had this kind of smorgasbord of music that all went together. That's the reason why Kid and Play could tour with NWA. Kid and Play could tour with Too Short, and Kid and Play could do shows with Boogie Down Productions and Salt and Pepper, and it all went together. It was all so different.
I read in Michael Eric Dyson's book about Tupac, the era of Def Jam, where you saw tours that consisted of Will Smith and NWA on the same tour. Kid and Play just said they were part of some of those tours where they're on the same tour as NWA. That sounds insane today because of how very different you would imagine their demographics were, or how different, but maybe they weren't so different, right? I wasn't old enough to be out there going to shows, but that's just insane when I think about that now as an adult because of how different the content of the music was. But it just showed you, like, folks was able to stick together even though they made different stuff. And matter of fact, they probably bonded more because of how unique everybody was, and they could hold their own lane and be their own person.
And distinct, but it all went together perfectly.
I mean, it's what you call diversity, a smorgasbord of sorts, where, again, you could be able, what Cheryl Salt used to call his ear candy, ear and eye candy. You know what I'm saying? It made things different. And again, we're not here to judge. I mean, if this is what the marketplace likes and wants, so be it. Evidently, they know. Sometimes people say, well, maybe you're listening too slow or you're not listening right to be able to understand and appreciate. And then again, a lot of times the music and the subject matter comes from the environment in which people are coming from, which those particular people in those demographics will be able to relate to. You might not know about that, what we go through here in Minnesota, you New Yorkers, or people from different cities and different states are not able to identify with what that person's talking about that comes from that particular city or state. So it's so many reasons, so to speak.
Well, I will say that the one thing and the one beautiful thing about hip hop is it's always and constantly evolving.
Yes,
sure.
It's evolved from its inception on down the line, or throughout our era and moving forward. It's interesting, and I'm very curious what hip hop will look like in the next 5 years.
Jeez.
Where will we be?
I thought about this in detail in terms of what will hip hop look like, not even just in the next 5 years, but think to 100 years from now. Bear with me. 100 years from now, when people are looking back at this time period and they're trying to figure out, like, what was y'all on? What was we on today? What was the stories of the day? They're gonna watch these videos. They're gonna watch, They're gonna listen to the music that was at that time, and they'll build conclusions. Here's an even worse scenario. Can you imagine? And I think it's turning a corner right now where the older rappers are starting to finally show back up, and not only show up but show out. Shout out to the Common, shout out to the LL Cool J, shout out to all the independent artists that are doing their thing. I think it's turning a tide. But how are we going to explain? We're not going to be here. Oh, well, maybe I won't be here. I can't see myself getting to 139. But in 100 years, how the fuck will we explain that when specifically black men and black women were the smartest they've ever been, the most wisest they ever been after going through that godforsaken industry, the smartest, the brightest, the most honest, and also the biggest master of their craft? What are we going to tell them when they're trying to figure out where's their music at? When the only music that they can get access to are just the kids who barely know their left from their right, or the kids who were still trying to figure it out but didn't have OGs to look up to teach them how to maneuver their 30s. What are we going to say? What happens when you allow them to be the philosophers of the day? You're not going to like that in 100 years. You probably won't be here, so it ain't going to matter. But I hope that you care about legacy. I care about legacy, which is another reason why you get your old ass out here like me and fucking rap. It ain't about trying to be number one. It ain't trying to be viral. Don't even think about virality and watch it happen. But you need to tell these stories because we're part of this era of wisdom. That's why I'm so glad to at least see our OGs that I know have gotten their ass handed to them by this industry. They've been kicked in that. You can see it in their faces. Not Kid and Play look pretty good for their damn age. But they get their asses kicked by this industry. And by the time they get to 40, all these black men and women have energy left to do is podcasts. Because music is attached, even the creation of music is attached to trauma. What I'm saying is my message to you, especially if you're getting up there and you're being conscious about your age, I need you to have the same energy that you had in your 20s about fuck authority, fuck this, fuck that. I need you to have the same energy when it comes to your 40s. Fuck all these people with this ageism situation.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
F all these people that are telling me what I can and can't do. F these people who are telling me what kind of music I can and can't make. When we're literally living in a time that trailblazers are born. That's what I feel like. We're in that time. That's it. I'm not trying to preach to nobody, but I had to get that off. One more video that I feel kind of relates to all of this. Shout out to my guy Tank. He been on these platforms saying some wild shit. You know, look, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but we're not gonna cover him saying that Chris Brown is a better everything than Michael Jackson. We're not covering that shit. We're not covering that. I don't want to touch that with a 40-foot pole. But we will talk about what he said here about how the music industry changed, how it affected R&B, and where he thinks it's going, since we're talking about the future of music. Let's listen to this one. This is on Spring Hill's platform.
There was a shift when a rap song that was made in the basement for $500 and some snacks
Yes, snacks.
The snacks are important.
Speak on it.
Real.
went platinum.
Yup.
2 times, 3 times. And the R&B song where the track was $150,000 alone. Session at Sony,
Sheesh.
$2,500 a day. Hotels, $1,000. Per diem, $1,500. Hair and makeup, all of these things, just to sell that same 1 million records.
Damn.
The shift that happened was it was no longer economical to make R&B music.
Sheesh.
And so that was the business shifting to try and figure out how to make money. That's the business. What we've had to try to do is figure out the model of doing our best work without all the glitz and glamour.
That's very real.
Like, you can make an album in your bedroom.
That is a fact.
You can make an album in your bedroom. We can all make albums.
You got DIYers.
DIY.
DIYers can make a room. Boy, let me tell you, we done made albums in this room right here, doing all these reactions. I done made albums in here that went #1. One album that went #1 on the hip hop iTunes charts, and a few of them that went #3 in a bedroom. What are we talking about on FL Studio?
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Fuck you mean? So maybe in a way he's kind of saying that DIYers have kind of ruined it. But I don't mind that. I think that what he's saying is that this is a major shift, but it can be done. What a great time to be. What an amazing time to be alive and creative.
In our bedroom. Now that we've gotten to this place where we economically understand how to make music in the new music business, that's why we're starting to see a shift.
Facts. A lot of things are shifting. A lot of things are changing right now. And what a time. I hope you do not take that for granted. I hope you see the time that we're in. I hope you understand that, I keep saying it, this is the easiest it will ever be, DIYers.
DIY.
I love the fact, and I'm just going to end it on this note, I love the fact that we're seeing so many OGs reemerge. And it's not just the legends. I think it's really easy to paint a picture. It has to happen on all levels, first of all. We need the OGs, the older OGs, to change the narrative around this ageism that exists. You know, it's funny because I feel like somebody made this point last week. You don't hear as many conversations as you once did about age. Like, you don't hear, I mean, it was last year, they was going crazy with all of these headlines. Doesn't seem as much anymore because some people are coming through, and not only are they breaking the mold, but there's also artists that they've come up on that are still making really good music that are getting old themselves, or older, I should say. Old in terms of the standards for the music industry. Like, I'm not a fan of Drake, but as he approaches his late 30s and hopefully makes late 30s music at some point, people are not going to be done with him. That's debatable. Kendrick, as he approaches. J. Cole, as he approaches. People are not done with that experience. Especially when they see some of these newer artists coming up and they're like, that's what you finna leave me with? I need some, keep the albums coming. J. Cole, you ride your bike long as you want to ride your bike, long as you gonna keep making that shit. Fall off, I don't even care you apologize. Bring the fall off. Kendrick, I know you ain't gonna show up until a year later on a leap day. But come on, bring that music, because the shit I got to wait on over here, it ain't. But I think that tide is changing, and I think that also people are no longer looking to just the platforms that the major labels have control over. I think that people are doing very quietly, right, the due diligence, even if they don't see it that way, to go search up new artists, go down the rabbit hole after they see one artist, and then they have the algorithms serve them up more artists. People are doing that kind of work, and they're discovering people. And you know the people that tend to stick with them? The people who are not like everybody else. They're not like us. I'm sorry. The people who are not like everybody else. Who would have fucking thunk it, right? So it's even more reason for you to not just to show up, but to find what your sound needs to be. I am in the process of that. Finding my sound has been a frustrating journey at times, because it's like, I like some of this young shit. That sounds crazy. I like some of this young music. Fix that. Let's not Drake this up. I like some of this young music. Some of it is like, it's like clothes. Some of that shit y'all be wearing, I be like, ain't a fucking chance in hell. But some of the music, I'm like, hey, you know what? I think I could do that, but do it in a way that makes sense for Curtis King at this age. Same thing. I love boom bap. I love my hip hop. I love the stuff that I make, but I don't want to be just in that box, because I'm a creative no matter what. Beyond just a rapper producer, I'm a creative. So are you. So be creative. Make the shit you want to make, and who gives a damn who shows up or who doesn't? Because the truth be told is this: whatever you set out to do today with 0 people as an audience for you is going to be the same thing that you do when you have 100 people there. And when you have 100,000, there's going to be something along that DNA of what got you there that you're going to want to keep a part of the process. Inevitably, that's just going to be you. Those are my thoughts, DIYers. Let me know what you think. DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Stop being greedy. Peace.